Okay, there you go. Never pressed a button. Sorry, okay. I'll just go back over that. So, good afternoon, Wood. How are you? Stop Hunter, how you doing? Kev, how you doing? JW, how you doing? Speedy, how you doing, pal? Armin, how are you? Chris, how you doing, pal? Yeah, okay. Right, let's start again. Okay. I did look at that. That's initially how I had it. Now, when I came to the chart, it was already working its way back up. So I thought, I'll see where it goes. And then it went right up, and then this happened. And a tick below, tick above was a 4.25 point risk, which is a little bit more than I wanted to risk at the moment. It's quite a big bar. And it is a little bit congested. It doesn't mean it's not coming down. But I think what stopped me is the 4.25 points and the fact that markets move really slow, and when I jump in, I want to be getting 3 to 4 points back really before. But obviously, it seems to be working down, so I would have probably wanted 3 points there, which it comfortably made. But what did it get to the bottom? 3 points. Just a bit of caution, I think. I don't mind trading pre-market. And it kind of was a nice second entry, but it's just a little bit congested, and you just, sometimes I like to hold on there, and I thought, let's not be hasty. Sometimes you get to the market a little bit keen. But as you can see, I still have exactly the same amount down there that I finished with yesterday. I walked away from the chart. No urge to come back. I was quite happy. And the reason being is because I'm not risking much. I was $87.50 down. Now on a losing day, $87.50 is actually nothing, really, is it? So that's 2 red days I've had in about the last 11 or 12. The last one was $50. This one was 87 off. So it's okay. So I feel like I've crossed a bridge, for want of a better word. And I think the leading factor is the fact that I've reduced my risk and the stress is less. It makes sense. You risk more, the stress is more. If the stress is more, you got more chance of messing up, haven't you? So let's have a look. Man, that is some growth. Are you talking about me, are you? Are you talking about me? I think so. But yeah, that's the key, I think. And also trust in the process. Yeah, thanks, Jay. I appreciate that, mate. That's really good to hear. Thank you, Kev. Being a good loser. Yeah, I mean, do you know what? Do you know what annoyed me more yesterday was that guy on the stream yesterday that was just having a bit of I let him get to me, really. What I shouldn't have done is, if people get a bit interrogative, if that's a word, I should just probably not engage with them. But he niggled me a bit. And I kind of wanted him to blame me for the trade. And I don't think it was his fault, really. I probably just lost my patience a bit and took something I shouldn't have done. But I think that's about 4 or 5 people I've blocked off the stream in the nearly a year since I've been trading, which is not a lot. I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I was calm and tried to talk to him. A couple of you guys said bin him straight away, and I probably should have done. But I know some people, when they start picking and digging, it niggles you, doesn't it? And I let him get to me a little bit, and I shouldn't have engaged with him. But there you go, it happens. We got to learn from these things. Some people, I don't know, for whatever reason, whether he's struggling himself or not. And I suppose sometimes human beings do things, don't they? They just maybe take frustrations out on other people. But I got nothing against him personally, but I let it get to me a little bit, and I probably shouldn't. But there you go. It happens, doesn't it? But my policy is my way of thinking, and what I like to do is I think it's best to help and support each other, because this is not me or you. This is not your businesses encroaching on my patch. It doesn't work that way with trading. But I like to, if I get emails quite a bit and I get messages quite a bit, and some people say, I've blown account, what do you suggest, blah, blah. And I basically just try and give them a lift, because it is, my honest thought, as I've mentioned many times, it's part of the journey. It takes time. You've got to go through that. So I think sometimes giving someone a bit of a supportive lift, I think is good. And people like you, I know what. Many times I've had messages for what when I've had a really bad day, and it does give you a lift. And I think, because I've seen some people put comments on the Facebook group, and when they say they're struggling, they get a load of some sarcastic comments, and people saying, well, you shouldn't treat them with kid gloves, you should tell them how it is. But no, it's a tough business. When you're going to go through it, it's a journey you have to go through. And I think really you should be supportive and just try and give people a bit of a lift. Knocking people when they're down is not going to do anyone any favours. Hey Clay, how you doing, bud? So my answer is it's about supporting each other. We're work colleagues. That's exactly what we are. We're all in the same business, trying to make a living, trying to improve, trying to get better. So it's about helping each other, in my opinion. But sometimes you'll get someone who'll be a bit negative, but it is what it is. But I'd probably let him get to me. I probably shouldn't, but there we go. But I wanted to have a chat today as well. I've been sort of going through some things in my head this morning about trading, what I think is trading the process. I've been thinking a lot about the process of trading, and it's very similar to every other job in a sense. You follow a certain process. There's a certain process. We've got like a struggling to get through there, but I think that should push through and get down here. Every type of job, whatever job you're in, whether you're, I don't know, a carpenter or a bricklayer or whatever, there's a process that you have to follow. And if you don't follow that process, things go wrong. And it's no different from trading. So if you're, say, I don't know, if you're, let's say you're a carpenter and it's your job, you've come to fit a new door. I don't know about carpenters anywhere else in the world, but, they generally talk about measure twice, cut once. So that the process is you measure your window, you measure the door, you measure the frame, and you check it's going to fit, and you obviously got to trim it up according. Now, if you turned up from work one day and you didn't have your tape measure with you, and hey Rodian, how you doing? You didn't have your tape measure with you, and you decided to wing it and take a risk and have a guess, it's gonna fail. You might get it right 1 in 10 times, but ultimately you're gonna knacker the door. You're gonna have to go out and pay for another door. You're gonna lose time and money, and it's no difference with trading. You have to follow a certain process, and if you follow that process, you should be profitable. Now, if you follow the process and you're not, you clearly haven't built up enough trading skills yet to be able to make money. Now, the reason I'm talking this, I was thinking about Sam earlier. Now, Sam had a bit of a bad day yesterday. He did what we've all done and fallen into that trap a little bit. Okay, that's really nice. He was doing nice, Sam was. He was doing really well. And the reason I'm picking on Sam is not because for any reason. One, because I like him. He's a member of our big group of colleagues and friends. And he's a guy I chat to outside the stream as well. He's a nice guy. He's always sent me positive messages when I've had a tough day. So he was a question on that measured move and channel. Wouldn't the measured move come from the channel break? You're on about here. Well, initially I would say no. Usually you go from your biggest break. And I'd say the biggest break was here, so we've got a leg down. So if you look at that, it's slightly bigger, isn't it? So I would say that initially. Some may do that, but initially you'd have a leg down, you'd have a couple of legs up, and then you'd have another leg down. So that's where I would put that personally. I don't know about anybody else, but for me, it would be that. Yeah, really. We've got a leg down, and we've had that to break, really. This is just on the way down, so to speak. So, but Sam, yesterday, I think he had a win and a loss. Now, if any of you noticed, Sam posted his equity curve a couple of days ago, which is all that it's about. It's nothing more than an equity curve. That's what your trading is. So you look at your equity curve over a month, and if it slowly grinds up, you're a consistent trader. And he posted his equity curve, and it looked beautiful. He did it for a month. He was up $2,000, and everything worked perfect. And he had, I think, a win and a loss, and then he went into a trade for whatever reason. Instead of one contract he'd been doing, he went in with 3 contracts. Now, he took a trade, I remember it clearly, because I left it. It just looked like a bit of a weak signal bar, and I thought we're going to have a couple of legs down. It was at the top of a channel. And he took it, and it started to go against him. And because he'd risked a bit more, he moved his stop, and he moved his stop a bit more. And to cut a long story short, he ended up losing half of his $2,000. Whereas it was a 2-point risk, and if he was trading one contract, he'd have lost $100. Now, we don't need to give him a lecture about that. We've all done it, and I've done it many times myself. And at the end of the day, he'd be kicking his own arse. He'd be frustrated with himself. But it just goes to show, if you trust the process, it's not. What I'm saying is, if you trust the process, when he posted his equity curve, it was beautiful because he stuck to one contract and it worked perfectly. So when you trust the process and work the process, it works. As soon as you step out that line, you try and fit a door as a carpenter and you haven't brought your tape measure and you take a risk, you start winging it. You may get away with it 1 time in 10 or 2 times in 10, but ultimately it'll mess up and it'll cost you money. But he knows what he's done. At the end of the day, we've all done it. I've done it many times, and he'll have been feeling it last night, and I felt sorry for him. I give him a bit of a message, but it is frustrating, those emotions. But if you can just keep on top of them, and I think one of the contributing factors for me to feel like things are working better is reducing my risk, because ultimately, if you talk to professional traders, everything's about risk management. When I first learned to trade from Andrew Lockwood, that's one of the first things I heard him talk about was risk management. Now, with a $2,500 drawdown on a 50,000 account, that's basically what you've got. If you're risking 2 contracts, you're risking about 10%. And if you tell any professional trader you're risking 10%, you'll think you're a maniac. And he's probably right, because it's too much to risk. You have a couple of bad losses and you're really in the doghouse. You're going to struggle to pull yourself out of that hole. I trade 1 contract on you, Lance, but I think it's too much. You're probably right, Chris. You're probably right. I believe that I'm on the limit. But the reason I think it suits me is because I've been trading 2 contracts for the last year and a half. So I'm used to that loss of 2.5 contracts. So for me, the difference is half the amount. So I think it works for me, but I absolutely agree with you. I think really 2 to 3% seems to be about right. But what I will say is in about a month and a half, I should start then extending away from the drawdown. Once that drawdown, Apex's drawdown, it's $50, $100, you start to move away then, and then that 5% risk starts to reduce. I absolutely agree. I think really you trade 5, let's say you trade 6 micros and you trade 2 of them a runner. I think that's perfect. The reason I've decided to start with the 1 is because I'm used to the amount of money I lose with 2 contracts. So it does seem a lot less to me, and I thought I'd try it. And I think when you take a loss, you know how you feel, don't you? And how I feel is massively less stressed and frustrated compared to when I was trading 2 contracts. So I think it's working for me. And once I hit that $2,600, I'm basically $1,000 now. Once I hit that $2,600, I'll start to move away then from my trading drawdown because it stops. And that's when that risk will go from, on average, 5% to less and less. And I think get it up to about 2 to 3%. That way, what you don't want to be doing, and I found I was doing it on 2 contracts, is scared to take a trade. And if you're scared to take a trade, you're going to miss out, because if most of your trade wins, it goes without saying, you're going to miss out leg and a leg. I'm just going to get an order ready here, just in case.
Order submitted.
But I think the trick is you have to work the process. Nothing more, nothing less. If you're a painter and decorator and one day you decide to paint the wall instead of the ceiling, you've messed up, because when you do the ceiling, you're going to splatter splatter paint all over your walls. And it's just not working, because you have to follow a certain process. And there's exactly the same with every job you do. News informed. Shit, I'm glad you said that.
Order cancelled.
In how long? 4 minutes. Oh, medium impact. Yeah, it doesn't have much bearing, to be fair, mate. The one I'm interested in is the 2 o'clock one. But yeah, you've got to trust the process and follow the process. And if you follow it right, like Sam did for that first month, he had a beautiful equity curve. Where is it? I'll get it. It looked perfect. Exactly what you want. It doesn't matter what happened today, what happens today, or what happens yesterday or last week. We have a shit day last week. It doesn't matter. Ultimately, the only thing that matters is your equity curve. That tells you that you're either a consistently profitable trader or not. Where's this thing? I want to get it. I'm mentioning Sam because he's a trader buddy of ours, and I fully support him. And as far as I'm concerned, he's got a bright career ahead of him. Where's this equity curve? Oh, was it a short? Was it? I can't find where his equity curve was now. No, I'm sure we'll figure it out later, but it just worked perfectly. It was just lovely like that, working up, just beautiful. Oh, that's tempting. That's tempting. My only slight concern is it's a bit too far away from me. I'll see if I can get it later. He usually has some shorts, doesn't he? But I can't see his shorts. Let's see if I can find it. No, I can't find it. I thought it was on a short he did. Anyway, we'll probably bump into him later. He probably is at some point. But his equity curve just... It was just... where are we? Path. It was like this. Oh, I don't know what happened there. But it was just like that. It was beautiful. That's what it was. Perfect. Up like that. That's exactly what you want. Climbing and growing over a month. He'd made $2,000 in a month on one contract. That is brilliant. But he let something get the better of him, risked 3 times and ended up in the doghouse, and he'll be feeling it now, I'll tell you that for certain. But the trick is just to work the process. Some days you have losses, some days you have wins. But ultimately, that's what you want to see. Slow growth, because if you can do that, you're a trader. You're a successful trader. Over that month, you've been a successful trader. And if you follow the process and try and forget about the money, it just works perfectly. Where did Sam? I'll speak to him in a bit. He'd probably be on here in a bit. But it was perfect, and that's exactly what you want. In all honesty, it doesn't matter what happens yesterday or what happens tomorrow. It doesn't matter. That doesn't define you as a trader. It's over a period of time. We're thinking long term. But the trouble is, you get a bad day and it affects us. So I've really had to work hard and trying to just forget what happens today or forget what happens tomorrow. So if let me show you my equity curve for the last 2 weeks. It's not much of a thing at the moment, but let's have a look. This is mine over the last few weeks. So I'm trading at 80, just under 85% at the moment. So that's my equity curve there. Cumulative returns, they're the same, I think. Now, it's not massive, like it's only a couple of weeks, but that's what it's working up. So it's slowly growing, and that's what's important. It doesn't matter what happens on one day or last week. I mean, you can have a crap day last week. It doesn't matter. Ultimately, what you're after is that slow growth. That's why I think, having bits of software like Trading Sync or whatever it is useful, because it gives you a picture of what your trading's like. You can't judge someone on one day, whether it's a good day or a bad day, but over a period of time, that's what you're looking for. When did Sam post? No, he posted it. I'm thinking put on a short. I saw it pop up and I looked at it and thought, wow, that's spot on. And I sent him a message. I said, mate, I can see a nice shiny Range Rover parked outside your pad in the not so distant future. That's exactly what you want. I was surprised, Sam, yesterday, because I'm the one that usually cocks up. Not him. He's a lot more control than me, but he just seemed to have I don't know. You don't know what happens sometimes. I know Sam's had a tough time at the moment he's had a bereavement with a family member. so he's probably not got his head in the game sometimes, so that doesn't help. But it looked really nice, this equity curve, and I thought, wow, you've nailed it. But, you know, it's a slip up. Okay. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay, I'm going to drag it in. That's it there. Okay. He said, very frustrating, and he surpassed $2,000 in profit, and he took a bit of a risk, but that's what you want. I mean, that's perfect. That's a section of it, obviously, but look how that's just working up lovely. It doesn't matter where you have a winning day or a losing day. It doesn't matter. You're going to be a consistent trader by having that. Nothing more, nothing less. And he did it. Now, if he wouldn't have had that bad day, that would have just continued on up, and his account would have grown and grown. Yeah, 5 traders. Sam, his name is. But he's a nice bloke. He streams as well. I think he usually streams. Does he stream after me or during? I don't know. Because he works, I think. But he's a nice guy. He's always supported me. He's always messaged me when I've had a tough day, like a lot you have. But yeah, he'll be kicking himself, you know. He knows what it's like. We all know what it feels like. One thing worth mentioning that used to struggle from his move my stop. That's exactly what he did. It can save you 5 times and reverse once. Yeah, that's the trouble, really. If you do it once or twice and it works, you tend to do it again. And then what happens? You get stung. As soon as you move that stop even once, you've opened yourself up there to problems, because if you've done it once, you'll do it again. The only way you need to do is to shut it down. But what Sam had done is he'd taken a trade. The trade wasn't brilliant. It was an entry, but it was a where was it? It was here. I left it myself. I forget what it was now. I talked about it yesterday. I went, it's a bit. It was so far away from the EMA. And it came back and stopped him out. I can't remember what it was now. But I mentioned it and I went, I'm not a massive fan because it was just a bit too far away from the EMA and it was up on its own. But he got in it and he went with 3 contracts. I think he was trading 2 contracts. He had a run. And once it started to come back, as it was happening, I knew how he was feeling because I've done it myself many times. It came back and then he moved his stop once, and this was on 3 contracts, and it came back and he moved his stop again, and he got out for minus 5.75, and that's on 3 contracts, so there's $800 or something. So he'd have been feeling absolutely sick. I know exactly how he feels because I've done it for me many times. But once you move that, for me, it has to be perfect. I can't get it wrong once. Now, I can take a poor trade and I can make a mistake in trade and I can forgive myself. I've had to learn, but I can forgive myself. But what I can't do is trade after my stream, and I can't just click a buy or a sell and jump in because I think the market's going down and I want to be greedy. I've done it for long enough and I've just decided I can't do it anymore. And what's helping me is the reduced risk because those emotions aren't getting strong enough to sort of engulf me. I'm managing to manage them because I've reduced the risk. Now, at the end of the day, if you reduce that back, so you're risking $5, you're not going to feel any stress, are you? Or even $1. You're not going to feel stress. So it's about bringing that risk down to a safe amount that doesn't stress that. I mean, at the end of the day, if you get a professional trader and get him to risk 10% of his money, he's going to be shitting his bricks, isn't he? So it's not just us because we're inexperienced. You risk too much and those emotions and stress levels start to climb with that risk. So I feel for him, but he'll be kicking himself today. But it is a shame when he had such a good month and then, one bad trade and you lose half of it. But he knows what it's like. He'll be feeling it this morning. I did send him a little message. You just got to pick yourself up. I hope he just holds on to it. See, what I try to think is instead of he's lost half of his account, think I've still got $1,000 in here. Now, if he loses that $1,000 now, he'll give anything to have it back. So So yeah, but he'll be okay. He'll bounce back. Yeah, yesterday was bloody awful in my opinion. I agree with you, mate. It wasn't a nice day. It was a bit unpredictable, especially that later bit when it was sort of doing, where was it? All this stuff. It came down, and 1 minute we looked like we were going to come down, make the new lows, then it just turned. But yeah, it was a horrible range and just generally not very nice price action. But yeah, you've really got to try and hold your patience. The trouble is with me, sometimes I try and figure out what's going on. When even Max says sometimes you just can't trade this stuff. So I've given up trying to figure out what's going on and just accepting the fact that it's awful price action and just leave it alone. Is your channel off? This one here. At the moment, I think it's okay. Gone from here. I expect it to come back. And the reason I think it's okay, because I've got the 10,000 tick chart above me. And we got this initial bar here, then we touched here. Touch. So I think it's okay. Let me just check something else. I mean, you could have it there. The break and a new low. There's channels within channels, but that's probably something there with the break and a new low. But bring the bottom down. Bottom down and make more touches. I can't bring it down anymore. I'm not sure what you're on about there, bud. Bring the bottom down. I'm right at the bottoms. I'm not sure what you mean there. Bottom channel. You're on about the range? Is that what you mean? I'm not sure what you mean there, bud. Drag the right channel down. Drag it down. What do you mean down there? Is that what you mean? At the top of the channel. I don't know what you mean, mate. You're on about here? Oh, you think it's an overshoot? The overshoot. You on about bringing that up a bit like that? 130. Oh, you think that's an overshoot? Is that what you mean? There, I don't think it is, because it's only really touching once up here, isn't it? So if you bring it down, it's touching once again. He's talking, make the channel as a spiking channel. You on about there? You on about there, are you? You're pulling the middle. I'm not sure what you mean. I'm not sure what you mean. See, I like that because it visually looks right. Leg up. I'd expect another leg up to me. Connect the fail second entry at the start of the channel. To be honest with you, I like that. I think it looks right. No, I don't know. I don't know. I like that. I think it visually looks right. Leg, break, leg. It is a second entry short there. Let's have a look. We've gone from the high touch here. It visually looks like it fits there. Let's have a look. Okay, news. A few minutes. It's all right. I'm just looking for an entry here. Yeah, I like that. I think it visually looks okay. Not only that, if you look at it on the 10,000 tick chart, it looks perfect. Touched here, touched here, touched here. It fits really nice along the back edge. Yeah, I like it. See, for me, it's about visually looking right as well as sort of fitting. So we've touched here, we've touched here. In fact, that can probably go up a fraction. See, leg and a leg. Looks like it's going to bounce here. Yeah, once you start changing things sometimes, I think you've got to do what just looks right to you. And visually, I think it looks nice. Normally, we'll go from the high to sort of another swing, which would probably have been there initially. And then obviously it continues down. So then you extend it and it continues down. And I have a feeling, leg and a leg, this is where it's going to touch. The only slightly flipping frustrating thing is we've got the news in about 30 seconds. So leg and a leg. I think this is going to touch this. And turn, I think. We'll see. Just keep in mind, mate, lads, the news is starting any second now, 20 seconds, so don't get in here. I wouldn't if I was you. Right to the entry point news combined with, yeah, it's typical, isn't it? So we're pretty close there. In fact, you could slightly adjust that for it to touch if you really wanted to. If you bring that down to there, maybe. Oh, you stupid arsehole. Oh, I hate that. Okay, news. Yes, it's really close there. It might pop up a touch more. Obviously, the news may make a difference. I think you're right, 2-tier channel about to confirm. Yeah, it just visually looks right. Let's see what happens here. So, news hasn't really done much. A bit of a push down, then a bit of a pullback. I'd like maybe another retest. Unfortunately, I think it's going to go without us. Yeah, if you look on the 10,000, it's still fitting really nicely. Unfortunately. Leg and a leg. I never take that. I always wait for the lower high. So let's see if we can get a lower high here. Okay, that news hasn't really done nothing, fortunately, so it's over. So we can get a lower high here. I think it's going to go without us.
Order submitted.
I like that. That's triggered as the bottom, so if that breaks, I like that.
Order filled.
Now, the only slight risk there is we're sort of at the bottoms, but we have got a distance to go, so fingers crossed. I took it as on the engulfing for that one when it ticked above. Let's see what happens anyway. Going to give that one extra tick. Sometimes it makes a difference. it is a bit risky that. I took it on the engulfing, but I knew I was entering at the bottoms. But we've got, we'll see. Yeah, it would. I like that because it triggered above. Might have bit the bullet here. It's a bit too far away in my opinion there, so the only chance we got now is if this turns on that. It is bearish, so it is a possibility, but it is what it is anyway. Yeah, it's going to take me out, this is for sure. And it might go sideways as well, there's the problem. Maybe an option to get out of this a bit quick. I'm going to bring that down to there now, and I'm not going to move it. There is a lot of support, yeah. Just go for a couple of points. Might sting us here, but there we go, it is what it is. I mean, it's pretty bearish at the moment, so that's one good thing going for it. I'm pretty sure this is going to take me out. Possible second entry short there. We'll see.
Stop filled.
Okay. I had my suspicions, so that was a second entry short. It's a bit congested, so that's fine. So, what was that? Minus 3.25 points, was it, or something? Yeah, it was a slight more aggressive trade. It went about less than a point, didn't it? But there we go. What was it? What did it get us? 2.5, 3.5, 4 or 5, 3.5 points. It was quite a large one, that was. seem that big. So it was a 3.5 point risk. Okay. So minus 3.5 points. Okay. There we go. Okay, so this fits quite nice there. So there's a break. Let's see what happens. Where did I enter there? Oh, was it there? Was it? Let's have a look. Okay. Right. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, the lower high. Yeah, okay. I wonder why. I didn't think that's not that big. Yeah, it was that one. Of course it was. Of course it was. Okay, I'm going to say 3.5 points didn't seem to make much sense. Okay, the lower high. It was on the engulfing, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay. It was looking really bearish, so I thought that one just might work. Sometimes they just do. And I took on the engulfing, so there we go. Okay, so leg down if we can get 2 legs of correction. Let's see what happens here. Leg. Will I get you guys hit the like button? Is that okay? Just trying to grow the channel a bit. Okay, leg and leg. Let's see what's going on here. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. Okay, so leg up, break new high, leg down. Wow, this is a strong push up, isn't it? Well, it didn't really do anything. If anything, we had a slight push down, but that was sort of it, wasn't it? But I don't know, who knows? So we've had a push up, one attempt to go higher. Let's see what happens now. I get a bit nervous about going long here, just in case we come down and make a second attempt to go higher. And then come down and retest these bottoms. Hmm. Yeah, it's hard to say, isn't it? It does look like a bit of a bull flag, though, doesn't it? So we got a leg and a leg. I stayed up late. Did some trading around 3 or 4 a.m. Yeah, that was all sort of gone when we were done. Yeah, good on you, mate. Excellent. Good on you, Resi. This is all cryptos. Cryptos have been doing well, haven't they? I know Solana's just flying at the moment. Leg, sideways leg. If we can get a higher low here. What is going on here? Excuse me a sec. Sorry about that. Okay, let's see. Let's see what happens here. See if there's something large and working up there. Spike and channel. See what happens here. So we can get a higher low. I like the way it's come back to this anyway. If we can get a higher low here, we may get another leg up. Actually, I wonder whether it ends up being something like that. Now, there's obviously the possibility that we could come down. That's broke. So there is a possibility of coming down and making a new low. Trying it once, trying it twice. Ooh. Okay, some traps here. There's a failure there, which is triggered. It's hard to say. Yeah. Yeah, well, there's definitely a failure there. Trouble is, it struggles to get below there, so you just don't know. Oh, shoulder, head, shoulder. I mean, after that failure, it's probably going to come down anyway, isn't it? But the trouble is, it is still struggling, so it's hard to say. Possibility coming down. Yeah, if it stops below there, I think it's probably going to come down from there. I think that was an okay trade. It might have just took a bit of time. We got the open there, so may have a bounce. So we've got a leg down. Perhaps this is just a making a new low. It's possible. Yeah, it's just hard to know what the hell's going on here, doesn't it? Look at the 10,000 tick chart. We got a leg. We could have a start of another leg. You just don't know. So it's not very clear. I don't think there's any type of a larger channel there. Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to continue up. Let's see, because we've got a channel. Okay, there's a lower high there. Let's see if that triggers and pushes up. We may get the failure then. Leg up, maybe leg, and then continuation. It could do anything really, couldn't it? In all fairness. Okay, channel break, new low. Excuse me 1 second. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. Okay, so we've had this channel down. That looks okay. So we've had a leg up, we've had a break, new high, 1 leg, 2 legs. So are we going up or are we going down? I've got no idea. I think it's certainly feasible. We could, let's have a look. Leg down, 1 attempt to go higher, 2nd attempt to go higher. Let's see. So that measured move is played out for sure. Let's have a look. So if we can get a bit of a pullback, I'm guessing there's a fair chance we could break this low here, get down to the lows, leg down, break. It's trying to go up, trying to go up again. I'd like to get a bit of a pullback. It's coming down a bit too steep. There's no entry there really. Got to get a bit of a pullback. Touch. We need to get something up here ready to confirm that. But there is a possibility. Leg. There's over a measured leg. Hey Edward, how you doing, mate? Okay, so channel down, break, leg up, break, new high, leg down. What are we going to do? Going to continue down or what? It's certainly feasible. I do wonder whether we are ranging. That is a possibility. Touch. Walked away today. This type of price action never ends well. You're not on your own there, mate. I think there's quite a few of us who thinking that. Yeah, I know it is like that. You've got to be extra cautious, haven't you? The more I look about that, the more I think, what was I thinking? But at the time, I was expecting it to come down here. We'd had 2 legs up, leg down. I thought we were going to get the leg down, but there you go. I should really have took that short into, there's no room to the lows. So, you know, sometimes when you see this bearish market and it just tanks and you think, well, I should get in there, but it is what it is. A little bit of naivety there, I'd say, which is fine. You know, I've had to learn to forgive myself. There's no point in beating yourself up over it. It just doesn't help you trading. Market being, yesterday was a bugger, wasn't it? All this stuff. But yeah, it is a bit. But Thing is, with this leg up, you could have had a break of the new low, and it could have continued up, but you just don't know, do you? So we made a leg and a leg, so that's played out. Something else. FOMC, is it? So the only other possibility here is that there is a bigger channel. It's hard to say, really. I'd like that to push up to there and give us something bearish. Trouble is, there's no point chit-chatting. Okay, let's get rid of this for a minute. We've had a leg down and a leg down. So you'd have never guessed that was just going to do that, would you? So leg down, push up, break, new high, 2 legs back, push up again. I don't know. I can't see this being the start of anything longer for me. I just don't know. Don't know. Yeah, it's definitely a day of things aren't very clear. You've just got to be extra vigilant, really. I don't know whether that is a possible range. We've held twice there. We've held a couple of 3 times here, maybe. Larger picture wedge. Yeah, unfortunately, with Pats, we don't necessarily trade wedges. So leg down, break. It's just unclear, isn't it? Yeah, let's see what happens when it gets up here. If it hits here again, then I'll keep that range there, but it's hard to say at the moment. It's just not clear. And when it comes down, you think maybe a pullback, maybe a bigger channel down to the bottoms, possibly break the lows, and then obviously it just shoots up in a different direction. So, possibly a leg up, 2 legs of correction, another leg up. Possibly. Ooh, big strong push up there. Leg. Yeah, it's just not very clear, is it? Leg down, leg up, leg up. It's turning into yesterday. That's how it started. We had that big leg down. We had 2 legs up, then we came down and went up, and it was just doing that, wasn't it? At a slight upwards angle, and it's like almost like deja vu, isn't it? Strange. It does make you wonder, doesn't it? What causes it? I suppose it's uncertainty, isn't it? It's got to be. But what makes people jump into a push up like that? Leg up, 2 legs back, leg up, maybe. I don't know. In that case, it would push up higher, wouldn't it? But yeah. Yeah, you're not far off, actually. In which case, it doesn't help us. It could still come back to here, couldn't it? Or it could push up. I mean, ultimately, if you put it into 4 hourly or something, it's going to make something like that anyway, isn't it? But so every time we come from the bottoms, we push up to the tops. So you'd probably be expected to make that measured leg, but who knows? That's just probably guesswork, really. Would you want to go long into that? I would say it's trapping both sides. Yeah, I'd agree with that, mate. I mean, in all fairness, really, you can only really stay out of this, can't you, unless you see something obvious. It's just a bit congested there, but the failure I don't think was a bad call. Eventually it worked, but trouble is nothing worse. I mean, really, do you want to be going short into there? It's certainly looking like it's coming down, but that's only sort of, I would say, just educated guesswork, isn't it? It's not what I would call a really clean-cut good entry, because ultimately it is sideways, it's ranging, but with the little pop out at the top. So it's just hard to say, really, isn't it? I mean, you got to wait for something a little bit more of a sure thing than that. Yeah, it does. So we're close to the highs here. I mean, you could argue, in fact, you could bring that down a fraction, and it fits actually really nice. Touch here, touch there, touch there. It's actually a really good fit. So you could say that, in fact, really, what's really happened there is we've had a break in a new high, so there's a lower high there, so that might not be terrible. Having said that, if you think there's a leg up with 2 corrections and a leg up, do you really want to be going short there? You'd be thinking it'd be pushing up and making that leg out there, but trouble is, if you take the long, it may trigger you and create a failed second entry long, so do you really want to be going long into this? It's just not as clear, is it? After it's been up here, the trouble is it's gone from here to the tops and back here. It's only got sort of 2/3 of the way down, really. So does that make it more bullish? I suppose it is a bit. Trouble is, if you take that, it's congested. I mean, you would expect it maybe to fit, but trouble is it creates now congestion, and if it triggers you, it'll create a potential failed second entry long, which then you might get stuffed, and that bar's just gone a bit naff. So trouble is, you really want to wait for the higher low there, but then you are going into the tops. But if you think that leg is valid, this is where that patience gene really comes into it. Let's see if we got anything from Mac. No, still not yet. That's unusual. The good thing about having these late is it should incorporate most of this. So I'd be interested to see what Mac's take is on this. I'd be interested to see what his read is on that. He usually goes from these first, so I'd say he's probably got that. See, there is a second entry long, which clearly made a couple of points, but signal bar is not brilliant. It is a little bit congested, and we have just come off the highs, so you just don't know whether it's going to push up. Now, we've got a leg, and obviously there's a possibility of a leg, so I think it's possible it could, but who knows? He's got it like you. Just put it. I can't see anything on the email. It's using the junk folder, isn't it? Oh yeah, it's just come up. Well done. Oh, so it's pretty much like this. See, leg up. Oh, that is so tempting to go long up there, isn't it? So now you just can't, though, in all fairness. Leg up, 2 legs of correction. I think it's quite possible, but it's just risky. That'd be more of a gamble there. Let's have a look. Yeah, he has, hasn't he? He's got that channel there, that there. He's got the push-up there, the break. That leg down. The only thing he's added is that leg down, isn't it? Yeah, leg down, break new low. It does look like it's going to push up for that, doesn't it? Yeah, there's Mac's chart. Pretty much same as we've got, really. The only thing I haven't got is a range, I don't think. Oh, yes, I have. So the range from bottom to top, he's got that channel down there. This one up, bit aside was that one there, and that's where it ends. Tell a lie, that goes up to there. That's how he's got it. So let's put that there. Did he have it down to here? I can't tell. So there is a second entry long there. Trouble is, it's gone up here and struggled, gone up here and struggled. So you have to take that into consideration. Bounce, gone up, bounced, gone up, bounced a second time. Maybe it needs another run up. So that second entry long. In all fairness, the bar just changed last minute, didn't it? Okay, so that would take us to the top, that smaller leg, and that would take us to there. Either way, I'd expect to get there. So if we can get a couple of legs back. So what we got here, there is a bit of congestion here, so we may get some. I'm not a fan of that. Tomorrow, request a withdrawal from Apex. Unfortunately, they do not offer. But no, it's a depends where you're from. But if you're from US, it's is it ACH or AHC? It's Wise for me in the UK. So I think you're gonna have to go on to the just log in and sort it out. Neither Wise works for me. Okay, just open up. Are you from Spain? Open up a ticket. I thought Spain was okay. Open up a ticket bud with them. There are other ways to pay you. So yeah, open up a ticket for them, telling you from Spain, and they'll have to sort you out. Yeah, it's a bit annoying, really, isn't it? The thing is, I set up with Deal, and then I opened a Revolut account, and Revolut Steel, I pay £12.99 a month, and that gives me unlimited foreign exchange. So I had it coming straight from Deal into my Revolut account, and obviously I had foreign exchange for free. Then they changed it to Wise, so I'm now paying £12.99 a month for the Revolut account, which I no longer need. So it's just a bit of a ball ache, really. What you can do. I don't know why they don't just pay your PayPal or something like that. It would make things a bit more simple. But I think they like to get it bulk done, and they want a company doing it all for them. I don't know what the solution is, but I think they're changing from Wise again, aren't they now? Which is a bit of a pain in the arse. But what can you do? Well done on your payment anyway. Let's hope you get it swiftly. Yeah, between the 1st and the 4th, isn't it? Yeah, I'd get an email into them straight away. Just open a ticket with them straight away. At least that way it's got to be finished. Your request has got to be completed by the 5th. So you've basically got 5 days after today. That's enough time to get them for a ticket, and then obviously they can provide you with the correct information so you can get your payment. But congratulations. Always like to hear people. My second one, HH blew up too many pairs. Yeah, you're not on your own there, bud. You're not on their own there. We've all done that. It's all part of the journey. But congratulations anyway. Nice time to get it now, coming up Christmas. Always helps, doesn't it? Especially if you've got kids. I've got a 14-year-old one that wants way too much this year, as usual. That's where most of our money's going to go. But what can you do, eh? What can you do? Okay, so leg up, 2 legs back, another leg up. Are we pushing up or are we pushing down? You just don't know here. It could do anything. That's played out. Where's it going to go? Up here? Not. I don't know. It could just do absolutely anything here. You really don't know. It's possible spike in channel. I'm just not a massive fan of it, to be fair. I was hoping that might tick below there, but that's one leg back. I like to get another leg, really. Okay, so it is pushing up nonetheless. So this is our target. But I suspect it's hard to say really whether we'll break these highs or not. But this is just, you can't draw anything out of this. It's a bit frustrating, isn't it? I suppose there is a possibility, but it's just all this. It just looks messy, doesn't it? That's a nice looking channel, relative nice looking channel. This just I don't know, you can't even call that a channel. So leg down, leg. It's probably going to get up there, but who knows? When the market's like this, it doesn't follow the normal rules, does it? You know, the normal rules we sort of follow. Excuse me. Okay, it's got to come further down here, really. Trouble is, we've come from the top. We've only got so far off. So for me, this is a weak push-up. I can't see it pushing higher than that, in all fairness. If we've come from there back and we push up again up to the tops, then that's still got good upwards momentum. And that's lost it, isn't it? Before it's come back. So I hate getting into trades like that. I much prefer to see him come from the top. Leg and then get involved, because I just think there may be a break here. I'm not even convinced that's a channel. It's just not the best looking thing, is it? So I would expect there will likely be a break here. Leg up, 2 legs back. Have a look. Maybe that might be a penguin trade. Leg up, made 1 attempt to go lower, 2nd attempt to go higher. Let's see how this finishes. One attempt to go lower, 2nd attempt to go lower. Let's see. It is actually a 2nd entry long, isn't it? I just don't think it's going to end up bullish enough. Let me just get an order in here, just
Order
in case.
submitted.
But it looks like a leg. 2 attempts to go lower. And a push up.
Order cancelled. Price is going lower, dear. It's going to go much lower now. Yeah, in all fairness, I haven't got a bloody clue. It's just not clear. I just wonder whether he had a leg. 2 attempts to go lower, and that was going to be like a penguin style trade, but who knows? Trouble is, all I will say is it's a bit congested there, so like I made 1 attempt to go lower, 2nd attempt to go lower. I have a feeling we may push up from here. Leg up, 2 attempts to go lower. In all fairness, I haven't got a flipping clue. It could do anything here. It really could.
more chance to toss in a coin and going trading on that. Lance is looking like a second entry long trap. On the daily chart. Gonna go down after tomorrow. Who knows though? Yeah, you're not wrong, mate. Might be a counter trend trade. Yeah, I got no idea what's going on here. In all fairness, it's just it is turning out like that party yesterday, isn't it? Which bit was it? There, I mean, that just doesn't tell you nothing, does it? It's just it looks like a part of like you've just taken a snapshot of the middle of a heart attack, doesn't it? Really, it's just bouncing all over the place. Okay, I do like that though.
Order
I
submitted.
very much like that. Let's see how that ends. The way we've had 2 attempts to go lower. Nice big bullish bar there. Would have been interesting, but it ain't going to work, is it?
Order cancelled.
No. Oh, well. You got 4 points. Oh, thanks for sharing. But it was a bit fucking... Which one did you take, bud? From the top, did you? Nice of you to share. Greedy. No, you can't share your trades, can you? Because if they go wrong, everyone blames you. I got no idea what's going on. And what I will say is it is holding prices here to how it was up there. Yeah, touch. I mean, you could say maybe a triple test. I don't know. I'd say that was a double test. I wouldn't count this because this is just on the way up, really. Bounce once, bounce twice. If we get another bounce here, then I'd say that's a triple test because we've got a leg up clearly. Whether you think it's like this or not, who knows? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But we got a couple of legs up and then we got one push down, attempt to go lower. We come up and we've got a second attempt to go lower. And that to me looks like it could be like a penguin style trade. So there's maybe the first attempt. You call that probably one attempt. So that's probably a second attempt. I mean, it's tempting. It's certainly holding. That's for certain, isn't it? I'm happy when you get a winning trade. That when I die. I appreciate that, mate. I know what you're saying. Mm-hmm. It does look like it is trying to push up, but it's just getting something. First test. I'd like to get another test of it here, and then I'd expect it to hit the highs, more likely this. So I'd like to see another bar come down. So that's the first test. That's on its way up. So it's tried to come down once, tried to come down twice. I'd like a triple test. So you could have a leg break new high, 1 attempt, 2 attempts, and then a push up. I just hope it doesn't go without us. So many wicks, yeah. It's certainly looking like it's going to push higher to me, at least to the tops. But if obviously we really look up, we've got this measured leg that we can hit, and then obviously the highs of the day. But I mean, my first point of call would just be the tops of this. But if we can get another leg and drop and get something bullish here, that's something that would interest me, even just to the tops, let alone here. Hello, Sam. How you doing, mate? We were chatting about you earlier. Saying you had a bad day yesterday. Such a great start. But it's just one of those unfortunate things, isn't it? But we did say you'd be beating yourself up something chronic about now, or certainly last night. But we've all been there, mate. Your account's still intact, is it? I hope it is, bud. Yeah, take a nice extended, but good for you, mate. Your account's okay, is it, or not? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Possible triple test. Good on you, mate. Okay. That's what you got to think about. My account is $1,100, not it's down $900. So if you've held on to that, mate, then you've done good. Because to be fair, mate, I think I'd have fallen apart, in all honesty. Yeah, it was a shame, but you know where you went wrong and you've learned from it and you've managed to keep the account intact. At the end of the day, $1,000 odd, there's nothing to be sniffed at that, mate. It's still a decent amount of money. Much better to start on $1,100 than to have to start again, you know what I mean? So you'll be all right, mate. You'll be all right. Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you what, mate, you did well to all that. I'd have fallen apart, I think, in all fairness. But yeah, you definitely got a bit more control than I have. I've done a lot more damage to PAs and VVALs than you have. We'll take a few weeks off. Yeah, good on you, mate. I tell you what, mate, after a week, you'll be feeling nice and fresh. But I think if you've had a bad day of it, I think it's important to at least take a few days off because you need to get rid of that frustration. Otherwise, it will just come back into you with your trading. And that's the last thing you want to do. You've got a nice PA account there, which is $1,100 in credit. You got this, yeah. I did mention you've had a family bereavement, so it's you've probably got that on your mind as well. But it is hard, it is frustrating. We all know what it's like. I'm a flipping champion at blowing accounts. I am. Yeah, okay. Well, leg back, but yeah, absolutely. I feel like I'm in a good place because I've reduced my risk, but I still have it in the back of my mind that I've still got to constantly work on it and be aware of it and not let myself get into too much trouble because you just never know, do you? Sometimes you do feel like you struggle to I turn my computer off straight away after collect. Good on you, mate. I tell you what, that speaks volumes about you, mate, that does. That tells me you've got a good bit of control there because so many people would have just carried on there and they'd have either got lucky and got their money back or 8 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, it would have ended up blowing that account. So you've done well there, mate. So you've got to think about, I've got an account with $1,100 in here. That's a good start rather than what you've lost. It takes a good mindset, that, mate. So you've done well there, Sam. Done well there, mate. I'll have a drink to you tonight, mate. I bought a new bottle of scotch earlier, one I haven't seen before. It's a Lafroig. Froig, is it wood oak or double oak? I've not had this one before. I've had the select and the 10-year-old, but I'll have a drink to you later, mate. But yeah, sometimes you just got to take a few days off a week, whatever it takes, just to clear your head. Because if you come back with all that in your head, it's a recipe for just making things harder, isn't it? And the good thing is, if you pay the one-off fee when you get the PA account, there's no rush. You can take a week off. It doesn't make no difference. It's just more frustrating if you pay the monthly one when you got to continue to pay it. Okay, so I'd say what I'm seeing here, it's likely to push the tops. Unfortunately, there's no real. We've got 1, 2. It is a triple test, but the bar's a bit just odd, isn't it? It didn't quite push up, so I'd say it's probably likely going to push to the tops, maybe higher. If you look on the 10,000 tick chart, there is like we've got to push up. There is like a second entry long there, but it's a bit not the nicest price action, is it? It shows you take your off the ball, one trade, yeah. And I bet when that trade, I watched it, when that trade went against you, I bet you felt physically sick, didn't you? It's a horrible feeling of losing control. I've done it myself so many times. You lose a bit and then you add a few contracts on or whatever. And then you see it coming towards you and you bring your stop and you're hoping and you're praying, aren't you? But ultimately, it's a losing game. It'll work once or twice, and then that'll sort of you'll enable yourself then to do it again. But I think the trick is you just got to stick to one contract, and you've just got to take your losses, and But ultimately, it's about your equity curve, and your equity curves is spot on, mate. So that if you didn't have the skills to trade, your equity curve would not look like that after a month. All you did, you just got sucked into that a little bit of frustration with a loss, and you step over the line, don't you? And then sometimes when you get your foot wet, it's pretty hard to get out of it, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it feels horrible, doesn't it? Yeah, you're right, Rezzy. It's a horrible feeling. It makes you feel physically sick, lack of control. It's almost like someone else takes over your body, isn't it? They call it. There was a woman I used to follow. She calls it dissociation. It's almost like that fight or flight. You just see red. But we've all got in punch ups sometimes in a life, but once the fists start flying, you don't think clearly, do you? It's just you start swinging like crazy, and all the rules go out the window. And that's the tough bit about trading. But I am a believer now. If you reduce that contract that size enough, it'll take that sting out of it. You won't feel it so much. There's a leg and a leg. Would you trade that as fade that? In all fairness, going sideways, you could probably fade that. But I'm staying out at the moment because it is unpredictable. I don't like the way if you fade that. I like it to push straight up. The way that's teasing you, for me, that's going to come down and get stopped out. It does that. It goes up a bit, up a bit, up a bit. Yeah, let's go a bit greener. And all of a sudden you jump in and wham, down it goes. I'm just not a massive fan because the price action's naff at the moment, isn't it? Bearish imbalance, yes. If it's a bearish imbalance, you don't really want to be going long, do you? It is horrible price action, isn't it? Yeah, it is starting to work, isn't it? Trouble is, it's just horrible. In fact, I'll tell you what I'm going to do while this is horrible and naff. I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break and get a bit refreshed. It is a bit naff, isn't it? What time is it? How long have we been going? Nearly a couple of hours. Okay. All right, folks. I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break, make a cup of tea, refresh myself, and I'll be back. Okay, I clearly didn't miss much, did I? This is horrible, isn't it? See, it does look like it's going to drop out the bottom. Trouble is, if you go short here, it could just pull back and take you out. So, unfortunately, there's nothing really. On the account, yeah, we've all done that, mate. Yeah, it's not a nice feeling, is it? It's not a nice feeling. I think I've been about $40 away from $3,000 to pass a $50,000 account, and I've just taken a stupid trade to go and try and get it, and it sends you back and sends you back, and before you know it, you're like $2,900 up, and the next minute you're at zero. Yeah, it's frustrating. Emotions do funny things to you. Okay. You're 6k and 4 days away right now from getting 150. Good on you. Good on you. Okay, I had a sneaky feeling we were going to drop out the bottom. Unfortunately, this is nothing to tell you what it's going to do, though, is there? Leg up, leg up. It's just not telling you anything. It's not giving us anything, is it? No information, really. Up, down, sideways. It's all over the place. It's not clear. There's no clear direction. You can't even say, really. There's any type of channel there. It's just completely odd. Leg down, one leg, two legs up. It's this bit here is looking very, very similar to yesterday, all this, isn't it? And what happened in the end, eventually we had a push up, but it was up, down, up, down, up, down. Nah, if you don't give up, I believe you'll get where you want to be. It just takes time just to you've got to expose yourself to these emotions enough times to start to learn to be able to control them. That's the only answer I can, I've got. We do look like we're coming down, but you just don't know how far before we shoot up. So we went up, came down, went up, came down. We did the same yesterday. Went up, came down, went up, came down, went up, came down, and then eventually up we went. So it's very similar, isn't it? Somebody mentioned about a possible bigger channel over the hole. Something like that. It's possible. So I don't know. It doesn't really help us generally, does it? So 1 minute looks like it's coming down, and then you get that. Having said that, if you look on the 10,000 tick chart, push up, it actually looks quite bullish, doesn't it? If you get above there and then there, you can see that having a leg up. So that looks very bullish at the moment. We look like we've got a leg and a nice big bullish bar. We've touched 3 times, so I'm wondering if things are starting to look a bit bullish here. Trouble is, we've got a channel there which is touched and confirmed 3 times. Touch, 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 and it kind of fits, so you probably expect to make a new low, but I don't know. I got no idea. I'm not getting anything from this. No clear signals. It's just not very clear. I hope it sorts itself out at some point. Otherwise, it's going to be a pretty dull week, isn't it? There's really not a lot of direction. We had a channel here break new high, a small channel there break new low, measured move played out. We had a double bottom there, and then off we went strongly. But trouble is, after you're coming down there, you don't know whether you're going to have 2 legs back to here and then slowly work down to make a new low, because obviously we got some distance between where this channel finished and where the overnight lows were. So you would think, trouble is, you don't know how far's too high before, to expect it to come down. There's a leg and a leg. Are we still coming down? It's just not very clear. Sometimes the market's really predictable. And it's relatively easy to figure out what's going on. It's very clear. Measured moves work out perfect. And then other days like this, it's almost like you're out with a complete stranger. Okay, so we've had a channel down there. We've had a break. Possibly a new low on the way. But then, in fact, you know what I will say? I think probably, let me get rid of that for now. That probably makes more sense. Let's have a look. Touch, 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 touch. Yeah, I think it's more like a range in all fairness. Let's get rid of this. I would say we've just initially had that leg up. We've had a break, new high. We're working down, but then we bounced and pushed up strongly. So it's just, there is a slight downward feel to it, but and obviously then we had that. So it's just unclear. Unclear. So even if you zoom out, doesn't really do anything for you, does it? Yeah, this area here is almost identical, isn't it? Let's have a look. It's very similar. We had that big leg down, which is like this. Then we went up, then came down, we went up. We are working up. So I think at some point, there's obviously the possibility we could push up and have a leg and a leg. I think that's what it did. Obviously, I was finished by then, but I think if I remember looking on Max, we had a leg and a leg. So have a look. It's certainly feasible that we could have that leg and then level a leg up here. I don't know. I'm just not convinced at the moment. It's just sometimes the market, as I say, is really clear. Other times it's just not. And unfortunately, it's one of those days. It could do absolutely anything. Easy area to get trapped. Yeah, you're not. You couldn't have put those words any better, Bud. No clear direction. There really isn't. It's just messy and just, it's just quite random, really. And that's the problem, really. Sometimes if you sit here long enough, you start to get bored, and your patience gets the better, and you see something that looks like a setup, but a setup when the market's going sideways is a risky setup. And the only one I think I've seen here that would have been okay. My only slight concern is we're coming up to these highs, so you don't know whether they're going to come down, which is why I left that. And the bar, the last minute went a bit naff. You don't know it's going to do this, but my slight concern is that we were reaching some support there, and that goes back here. So we've got a touch here. So going along here for me, at the time, I had something like this, and in all fairness, it looks like it could be a range, so you don't know whether we're just going to test these tops and push down. So I was concerned there that it was going to trigger me and then create a failed second entry long and come back down, which is why I left that, but obviously it worked. But I'm not a fan when we just come off the tops going up to those highs, but sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, so it's... What do? You just have to do what you think's right. But it's very messy, and it puts you into that very cautious mindset. And sometimes, even if there's a setup there, you still ask yourself the question, am I getting sucked in here, or is this a genuine setup? But we need to get out of here and start pushing down in a bit of a direction to give us, some sort of idea of what's going on. But at the moment, it's just messy. It's random. But what can you do? I think it's the way it's working. I think it's possible we could make a leg or another leg up from here. But you've just got to sit and let go until we can get out somewhere. Oh, happy Halloween, everyone. I don't know what your guys doing tonight. I know my 15-year-old daughter's got a friend around at the moment, and they're slapping paint on each other's faces. So I've got myself a nice new bottle of single malt Lafroig Oak, Double Oak. I've not had before. I've had the 10-year-old and the Select. So I'm going to sit in tonight, have a nice bit of dinner, and I'm going to have a couple of scotches, and then we're going to obviously have the kids then for the next hour or two knocking the doors. They've got a big massive bowl of sweets, so that'll keep them happy. I didn't like how that setup bar formed on that trade you were just talking about. It finished. That one there, yeah, I'm always a bit cautious when it pushes up and comes back a little bit. It doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, but you just, when you see that come back, it just you just have that extra question, don't you? But I mean, ordinarily in a channel like that with two legs back, EMA's facing up, it wouldn't be bad going along. But my slight concern was it's just one of those days you don't know whether it's going to mess you around. Yeah, scared me, mate. We've hit once, twice. This was the third time when we've hit that right on the nail, and then we dropped quickly. So it might be a pullback and then down to another leg, down to this area, which we've seen it hit before. So I thought that might just trigger you and trap you and turn down. So it's okay to leave trades. Like, at the end of the day, my policy is if something doesn't feel right, leave it. So if it turns up and pushes up and rockets up, that's fine. But I think you're best off after a while when you get trapped and you lose so many trades. You get what's the word I use? It's almost like the picture doesn't look right. Something looks wary about it. Sometimes it's hard to put your finger on it, but I think when you've taken trades like that before, if I'm looking at that now, I'm glued to that. I'm looking right at it. So that picture is burning, it's in my brain. So when I come across things like this, again, that something doesn't feel right, I put that down to that, those sort of mental pictures that have been stuck in my head over the last sort of 2 or 3 years. Proceed with caution, absolutely, yeah. It depends. Some people take, some people who can play the losses perfectly fine might take lots of trades. They may take aggressive ones as well, but if they come out up, if they come out overall up, then that's fine. Some people would like to take more trades. Let's say a trade like that may work, 70% of the time. If you're going to go for 1-to-1, you're in profit. So some people, I tend to try and have less losses because I know losses don't feel comfortable. But in the future, if I think something's going to happen and I think I might make a decent amount of points at it, I may take the risk. But, obviously, if we've all got $10,000 sat in half a dozen PA accounts, then, risking 1 point and taking that might not be much of a big deal. Sorry. Kick me dog there. But as I'm trying to slowly build my account's just floating under, I've had that extra loss today, but it was up to 1,100. But it's floating just below $1,000 at the moment. So I'm trying to be a little bit steady and just pick the ones I'm more likely to sort of win rather than, that bigger picture. You just can't do nothing with this. It's horrible. Hopefully, at some point, we may get a break out the top or the bottom or something just to get us out of this. Shame about that one. The more I look at it, the more I'm frustrated. I took it, but it was looking really bearish. I expected it to get out in these bottoms. I shouldn't have taken it because there was no room to the lows, so that was just a little bit of naive trade on my behalf. But sometimes we make silly trades. Trouble is, when markets move quick, you don't always have a lot of time to think, and what might look okay 1 minute, 10 minutes later just doesn't look so good. But I was aware the bottoms were down here, so I thought, we got a leg and a push. Once we got so far down, we may just take off. But spider sense, that's it. That's the word I was looking for. Spider sense. It's that feeling, isn't it? When you've been stuck in trades, the more mistakes you make, you start to build up a mental picture of when something doesn't look quite right. Because I've seen this before, and it's hurt me before. So I think now a lot of the time I can just look at a setup and go, yeah, you know what it's like when you get a decent setup. You can't click the button fast enough. Okay, so 1 minute it's looking like it's coming down. And you might think, well, okay, let's get into a trade. And then it rockets up quickly. And then it starts to look like it's coming down. And it may trigger some shorts here, maybe further down, then it rockets up. So when it's like this, don't even bother trying to figure out what's going on sideways, just leave it alone. I do spend a lot, or I have spent a lot of trying to figure out what's going on, but that's the thing about the market going sideways. It's unclear. If it's unclear to, traders have been doing this for years and years, then what hope have we got trying to figure out what's going on? No one knows. They certainly don't, mate. See, at the end of the day, the people who are moving these markets are the people, the institutional traders and the guys with the big pots. And if they haven't got a clue what's going on here, then, like Max says, you just can't trade this stuff. You know, the skilled trader just sits out. So if Mac doesn't know what's going on and can't trade it, you know, it makes sense that we just got to leave it alone. Going to walk my dogs. Good on you, mate. Maybe talk to you when I get back. Good day. Yeah, you too, buddy. Take it easy. Okay, so 1 minute it's looking like it's coming down. And then all of a sudden up it goes. Yeah, so I suppose some traders, including me in the past, you see that going down and you just click sell down here somewhere thinking, yeah, here we go. Revenge trading. Now it's working for me, and then all of a sudden it turns around. It doesn't matter what you do when your mind's not in the game and you're revenge trading, you just seem to attract losses. It's quite uncanny. Even if you close your eyes and hit the button, you seem to, you know, when things are going bad for you, they just go bad. Okay, my wife's just turned up from work, so I'm going to have another quick 5-minute break. I had none yesterday, so nothing you can do here at the minute anyway. So 5 minutes, I'll be back. Okay. Beautiful. Yeah, I've not missed nothing, have I? It is slowly coming downwards, but I would say at some point it's probably going to drop, but yeah, it's just dangerous to trade this at the moment. So that's looking bearish. Second entry short there. Trouble is, you just don't know where it's going to trigger and push up. Could trigger it and come tumbling down, but I don't know. Oof, that's very tempting. Trouble is, it's just congested. It's very tempting, and if it gets below here, but it's just risky. And what happens? It triggers you and starts working back up. That's the problem. Sort of no traders find them tempting. It is a second entry short, and the frustrating thing is it triggers you, goes down about what 2 or 3 ticks, and then stuffs you. What's it gone down there? 3/4 of a point. If you'd have 1 tick below there, it would have triggered you, gone down 2 ticks, and now it's starting to turn. It may hold. I wouldn't like to be in that trade. It's clearly sideways. It probably will hold because I like where it is. It's certainly anybody in that trade? Yes, if you're in that trade now, you're shitting your pants there. I suppose if you liked it, you could take a limit order back here, maybe only have a 1.5 risk. Oh, you just went long, did you? Just got for 8 points. Took a long and scalped it for 8 points. I'm assuming you didn't get an ear then, did you? I thought you were on about there. 8 points. Where'd you get 8 points from? You don't mean 8 ticks, do you? Ticks, you mean? Yeah, I'm going to say you struggle to get 8 points in that lot. Ticks. Yeah. Is it going to go long or is it going to short? I don't know. See, it's tipping down, so you'd think that may take it down. But there again, it's sideways. There's going to be some shorts in there, so you think it may push up. So I'm going to say I just managed to get 8 points. Yeah, just. I mean, we're making lower highs, so but then you just don't know, do you? It's just unpredictable. It could rocket up. There's certainly going to be some short stops there. I'd say that's a given. I don't know. I think if we get down, once we get below things like this and this, then I can see us coming down to at least this level here, but it's getting below, isn't it? I below that 101k from a pass. My God, yeah. It's tough, that, isn't it? It's tough. Yeah, I suppose on the other hand, it was. Did you buy it at 90% off? Okay, there's a lower high there. It's looking very tempting, but it's clearly congested. I mean, there's a lower high there. Once we can get below here, you've got half a chance there, but at the moment, you just don't know whether we're going to trap shorts and off it's going to rocket. I've taken trades like that before. But we've pushed down and we've retested this a bunch of times, so I think it's probably more likely it will push down. But you don't know what it's going to do in the meantime. So look out, you take that, what happens starts pushing up. So doing anything here is risky, I think. I would say it is probably going to come down. No, I didn't. Just bought the 75k with 90% off and passed the 50 yesterday, so whatever. Yeah. To me, taking a short down here is shorting into the lows, chopping it. Yeah, it's why I'm not taking it. I'm thinking of what I'm seeing. It's probably more likely to come down, but there again, see if you take that bar there, look what's happened. So there's just traps galore in here. That one's going to get stopped out for that one possibly as well. But yeah, I'm only saying what it's looking like it's likely to do, but I'm certainly not willing to trade on it. I'm not that confident. But it's just horrible price action, isn't it? So is that now going to create okay, so that's got stopped out now. So if you'd have taken that or that, that's what I mean. The problem with these, say, they do look like they're looping down, but the way things are, you don't know whether they're going to trigger there, and all of a sudden turn up and take out any stops. So you just can't take them. Is this going to push up? Who knows? Yeah, I agree with you, Sean. Yeah, absolutely. It's too dangerous here, isn't it? So let's have a look. So we're working down. We had that big push up and it immediately dropped. We had that push up and it dropped. We had this push up. Now, would you expect this to drop? I think it's feasible. I mean, you could say we've got a new low there. There's a second entry short possibly there, but you just don't know.
Yeah, see, the last time we pushed up, we turned, came back down, same there. Are we going to do the same? See, I think it's possible we're going to do what happened yesterday. If you look at that, it looks very similar to that. We had that initial leg down, which is there, and then we went up, down, but gradually moving up. Same thing there. We had that initial leg down, then we went up, gradually moving up. And then obviously eventually we pushed out and had a really strong push up of, what was that, 5, 10, 15, 20 points in about, 10 or 12 bars. So we may get the same. And obviously, as someone mentioned earlier, it does look like a sort of a trend over the last couple of days. I know Mac doesn't talk this and we don't trade it, but, there's no reason why. Yeah, I mean, do you think we're going to hit that many times around there? Well, let's have a look at the tops. Pretty accurate as well. So we could have a strong push up and make a measured leg. We ended up doing it at the end yesterday. We had that. I think that made a measured leg, didn't it? So we went there, up to there, and there. That took us up to a measured leg. We actually went above a measured leg by maybe 5 or 6 points before we came down a bit. But yeah, so it does look like we're working up. We are oversold. See, I remember Mac's been saying we're oversold, and he was on about yesterday about a possible crash. He'd heard it from someone in the know, and that there was a possible crash because we're oversold. So you think if you're oversold, it would go the other way around. If it's sold, you would think, people think now's a good time to buy because we're way oversold. I mean, if you're overbought, the fear is it's going to come tumbling down. So I don't, perhaps I'm understanding it wrong, I don't know. But if you're oversold, we can clearly see on the daily we've been coming down. So you would think it would go the other way. And I know cryptos are doing well at the moment. Cryptos have been pumping. Bitcoin's up about 10-12% at the moment. Let's have a look. Bitcoin is floating around $34,000, a little bit over $34,000. I've got a little bit. I know things like Solana's doing really well at the moment. I mean, Solana over the last 30 days up 56%. Over the last 7 days up 16%. And that's in the scheme of things, it's a big move, that, isn't it? Bitcoin over the last 30 days is up 26%. That's huge in 1 month. So it's gone up a quarter in a month. So we're plateauing at the moment. So some think we're going to continue up. Some think we've been in the bull run since 15,000. We probably have. But once it starts to move, that's when it starts to gain some buyers. Once people see it start to move strongly, it's certainly got people's attention at the moment. But it's holding around the 34, but it's doing this at the moment, so we'd probably expect a pullback before we maybe have another push, but you just don't know what news event's going to happen over the coming days. But this is my first sort of proper year in crypto. I started I started sort of beginning of the last year. Just lost a chunk of money because I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I didn't know anything about bull markets or bear markets, but I have slowly been accumulating bits over the last sort of 6 months. Not a lot, a couple of thousands worth, that's it. But I did get stung. I ended up buying stuff which dropped 90%, something like that. Do I know anything about Eurocoin? I haven't got a clue, mate. No. I've got bits of crypto. Is it crypto? I don't know. I've got bits of crypto. I've got some Solana. I've got some HBAR. I've got some Cardano. What else? I've got some Matic, some Saitama, a little bit of Ethereum, maybe a couple of other little bits of stuff, but not a huge amount. But from what I gather, these bull markets can really rocket. 10%. 10x is not unusual, and more in some cases. I know during the last bull market, I think Solana went up 100 times. So if you get the right
you can get into the right crypto. The trouble is with crypto as well, stuff can crash. I mean, recently, I know a lot of people had money in, oh God, what was it that completely tanked? I forget what it was now. They made a 2.0 version of it. I forget what it was, but that just crumbled. I think it lost about 80% in one day. Luna, that was it, yeah. I think they got, was it Luna Classic now? They got something, but yeah, Luna. I mean, you looked at Luna and it just went like that. So a lot of people had a lot of money in Luna. I mean, I remember going back a year, there was a lot of talk about how it was going to do well. Terra Luna, yeah, but you just never know. I mean, there was an issue with what happened maybe 4 or 5 months ago. There was an issue with a bank where they had a lot of Solana and something went, and then Solana dropped from $18 to $8. It's at $36 now. So I think it's good to have some Bitcoin and Ethereum, generally the more safer ones, and then maybe the next tier, Cardano, Solana, that type of, area, and then maybe just a few, maybe slightly risky ones, a little bit less money. But I know there was a lot of hype about Saitama a year ago. They were bringing out this new app, and I think I had about $400, £400, I think, in Saitama, and leading up to this Las Vegas meeting, it was worth 2,000, so it gone 400%. And I held because it was supposed to be really good news, but then this app wasn't released and it dropped, and I had sort of 500-600 quid's worth, and it's worth about 20 now. So what I've done is, a while back I bought another $50 with it when it was ridiculously cheap. At least that way, if you buy when it's low, then but that's just hit and miss stuff. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I think crypto's the future. I hear more and more people talking about Bitcoin is the new digital gold. Big banks and that's slowly start to come around and adopt it. Some people saying it'll take over cash in the future. It'll hit $1 million at some point. I think they're quite right. But the trouble is, where you can make massive gains, you can also make big losses. If you'd have had a few thousand in that in Luna when that went down, you'd have lost 80% of that in less than a day. So sometimes these things, and not only that, as sort of crypto, it's not properly regulated yet, so you just don't know whether people are going to, it happens often, these rug pulls where, they advertise it like crazy, everything goes in, it rockets up, then the powers that be that are in there early literally sell everything, the thing crashes, and you lose a ton. So it's kind of good in a way that the crypto isn't regulated. There's a certain amount of freedom to it, but then if you don't know what you're doing, and it is usually the inexperienced people, like I was last year, that end up losing a chunk of money. Possible failure there, but same again, just sideways. You just don't know what it's going to do. It's come off the top, so I think it's more likely it's going to come down. But I think it may be, 60-40, it's coming down, I don't know. But if I was a young lad again and I had a bit of money, I'd definitely invest it in Bitcoin and put it away for 10 years and forget about it. Stick it on a cold wallet, tuck it away, and £10,000 will get you a massive pension in 20, 30 years. Maybe even less than that, a few thousand. I had about £6,000. Oh, did you really? Ouch. Yeah. The trouble is, I remember reading about Luna all the time. In fact, I think I even had some Luna. The trouble is with me, because I was inexperienced, I kept moving around. I'd hear about this one, so I'd sell that and buy that. And then I'd hear about another one, so I'd sell that. And I must have paid a ton of money in fees just out of inexperience. But I came in at totally the wrong time. Obviously, we'd hit the highs and we were working down in a bear market, and I was buying. Which, in one sense, if you're buying slowly as it's going down, is not. But I just, bought with lump sums, and not a huge amount, but I probably lost a few thousand. But you learn, and if you get it right, this next bull market, you can make a lot of money. Okay, there is a failure there, but we're still above the EMA. You don't know whether we're going to have a leg push down, then push up. So I don't know what's going on. But yeah, if I was young now and I had a bit of money, I wish I'd put some money back in 2012. I wouldn't have need to trade it now. Okay, channel up. We've had a double top here, so as far as I'm concerned, that's close enough to call that hitting the highs. But is it going to come down here? No, I think I bought my Solana. I did have quite a bit. I had about 40 or 50 of them, I think, at one point. $36 now. I mean, Solana at its high went up to about $260, came down to $8. That's huge fluctuations. So if you buy at the top thinking, you know, you're in this, that, and the other, it can be devastating. But I think the trick is, as it comes down, just buy a bit more. And that way you even out your price. So my friends put money into crypto back in the day when it was up a lot back in 21. He pulled some money out and bought a BMW. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you came in at the right time, you can make a ton of money. I mean, it's not unusual. I think Solana, didn't it go 100 times? So if you'd have put $1,000 in there, you'd have made $100,000. You just can't make that money any other way, really. So if you know what you're doing in crypto, you know, if you're experienced in crypto in these bull markets and you've got some capital, you can make yourself a ton of money. I had another friend who lost 50 grand when it crashed. Yeah. The trouble is, when it crashes, yeah, you lose the money, but as long as you don't sell them, eventually it'll move back up. But it's tough to do. I think the trick is, if you lose, you know, if it goes down 80%, then buy a bit more. And obviously you're bringing down the average price then. But yeah, it's hard to know what to do. I mean, that's the thing about the downside about it not being regulated. You know, there's so much hype with it. You get all your YouTubers blowing all these things up. Everyone starts jumping in, usually when we're right at the highs. You know, everyone, you know, then people take the profits that got in down here, and all of a sudden down it comes over the bear market. But yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it? Okay, so that is tempting to go long there. It looks like a leg and a leg. I like where it is, but we have just come off these highs. There is no guarantee with crypto. Will always go back up. Yeah, in most cases, you know, if you stick to the what's it ones. I mean, if you've got, say, half a dozen, I think you can, you know, pretty much say one of them's going to go up. But
Order
I like
filled.
this. It looks like two legs to me. Leg up. We got a leg up, sideways push up. I like that. Let's bring that down to the top. Where have I got? 275, 375, 475. We'll just come down for 2 points. It looks like a leg down and a leg down. Nice bullish bar on top of there. This is risky, I understand that. I like the way price is holding. The EMA's holding price. We've come down here, we've had a break, we've come down to the bottom, we've had a strong push up, two legs back to the EMA, nice big bullish bar right on the EMA. You can hope for 6 ticks. Going to give that one extra tick. No. I'm not feeling it today.
Stop filled.
Oh dear, I'm not having a good day today. I shouldn't have taken that really. I liked it, but the way it is at the moment, it's just not clear. Yeah, I didn't even get that, to be fair. So what am I down? 7 points today. Ouch. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, you're not wrong, mate. Bloody horrible day. I thought that was okay, that leg up. We hadn't quite got to the highs. We'd had that push up sideways. I expected another push up. And I thought that was a good enough bar to take us up. Obviously not. Yeah. was that? 3.50.
Order filled.
Okay, fading the breakout. I like that. Yeah, I didn't think of that. This is the last trade. What happens anyway? So we get a higher low here. I like the fact that it's broken out. Every time we've come down, we've pushed up. We've got a leg up sideways. I do expect a leg up. So let's see. Yeah, usually 2 losses in a row. If I have a loss, a win, and a loss, I don't mind taking another one because I'm only 1 loss down. But yeah, this is it for today. Leg. See what happens. Just like the way we've broken the bottoms, we've had this leg down, we've had a break, we've had a new low, so I think it's feasible we're going to go up. I like the fact that we've had a leg up, 2 legs up sideways. I do expect another push up. As we broke out the bottom, I'm just trying to hold a bit and just trying to get a bit more this time. Second entry short. I'm just wondering whether this will trap some shorts. We'll see. This is my last trade for the day. It is what it is anyway. If it can get above here, I think we're golden. Need to get above here, really. My slight concern is at 1-2, it's a triple test. Let's go for 6 ticks here.
Target filled.
Okay, that was a bit better. It may come higher, it probably will, but sometimes it's just... what did I get out for? 5, 6, 7, 8, 3.25 points. Okay, so... plus... Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. It's probably going to go up, but at the end of the day, what I like about this is we've had a break new, and we've broken out the bottom. got a leg up, and we're going sideways. We're coming down. All of a sudden, we had a strong push up, came down, made a new low. And I can see us having another leg up here, but I'm only prepared to go up to this the midline-ish. I want to be greedy. I think 3 points. Ideally, I wanted 3 points. I like to get 3 points off a decent trade, but that's got me, so I'm only a couple of $100 down now, so I can deal with that. I think that was the one I took, was it? I like about it, we came down and it pushed up again, so I thought we're going to go up there, and then we started going sideways, so I thought we're pushing up, but we can call that a happy ending. Yeah, what time is it now? We're going 3 hours. Okay, we're nearly done anyway, so what am I down for the day? 3.5. So I'm down 3.75 points, so that's not too bad. Well, it says $187, but including fees, it's about 190, I think. You got 3 points off that scalp as well. Yeah, after we've had a leg down and a break, I think it's fair to say we're pushing back in, at least to the EMA. But then when it started going, and after that one, I thought that's pretty good. That's why you only enter at the bottom of a range. Yeah, I like it when it breaks the range. Now, is it going to be as strong as this? It's hard to say. It probably will, possibly will, but sometimes it's just good to get your points and get out, because if you hold on any longer, a 3.25 point trade can end up in a 3 point loss. And in fact, it was probably more than a 3 point loss, I think. Where did I go in there? Didn't I? So about yes, yeah, it was a 3.25 point loss, something like that. So it's 1 for 1 anyway. I like the way that's held there. So my runner might survive. Yeah, you'd expect to get at least to this area here, wouldn't you? I'd expect to get to there, certainly. That's probably where I'd want to get out. I was looking at that. 92. I did consider holding to 92, but you just don't know, do you? All right, it's great. I would have got my money back, but something out of it too. Good on you. But you just don't know, do you? The way the market's going at the moment, you don't know whether it's going to get so far up. People are going to go long and it's going to turn. So, very good trade I got. Some little out of it. Good on you, mate. Good on you. It's probably going to hit that as it's going up now. That would have got me break even, actually. But yeah, sometimes you can just be too greedy. Where did I get at that? So if I get up to that level, it would have got me an extra 3.5 points, which would have more or less got me break even. But you just don't know, do you? Sometimes looks like it's going to leg in a leg. But sometimes it's just worth just getting your points and getting out. So I'm down just under 200 for the day. That's all right. I can deal with that. I can deal with that. What was I up? 7, 8, 90. Yeah. I was up 990, 890, 790. Yeah, it's just a fraction under $200. We got the open there. See, is that going to hit that 92? That's where I got out. That's where I originally pulled that up to, just to get me to break even. The fact that it's getting close there. Thanks, Chris. Yeah. I thought there was a fair chance after that we'd get up there, and obviously it continued right up. Now, what I will say is after this break, you'd expect it to push up. What I will say, I expect it to push up higher. What I will say is my account's building up slowly. Now, if I had $10,000 in my account, I would probably buy that, yeah, bring my stop to break even and just take a risk. Well, I say take a risk. I'm not taking a risk because I'm, coming out for zero. But if I put it at the tops and take that, I could have potentially had 9 points, certainly 9 points. And I don't mind doing that if I got a nice big balance. So I was risking 3 points, 3.25 points for 9 points. So it was a good risk to reward ratio. In all fairness, when we had that next push up, the next place to put you would have been there. So I'd have probably got a point guaranteed, but with the potential of 9. But that's the type of thing, if I expect it to go at the top, I'm going to do when my bank, account balance gets to a nice, comfortable level. and I can say, okay, it's worth risking $150 for $450, because that would be worth the risk if you knew that it was going to come up here. And in most cases, you know, it does. And after that break, I'd expect to push up, and I'd expect a break at the top. And once we get a break, I think then it's feasible. We could have that second leg. It's like a push up with a couple of legs down and another push up, load of sideways. And I think eventually we'll get up to this level here. So not terrible. So I've had 2 red days. So 200 today, but I kept my nerve. I was a bit frustrated taking that one, to be fair, because we come off these highs, but I am expecting this big push up, so it was a shame. But if I wouldn't have got that, I'd have got more or less back the breaking. But that's okay. That's all part of the game, you know. But it just goes to show that if you hold your nerve and you wait for something, and don't do something stupid, and, you know, sometimes you're going to get 2 losses in a row, but, you know, it happens. But that one, I'd say, that I didn't think was a terrible trade, but going into the lows, I should have known that one, really. I should have said straight away, we're going into the lows, there's no room. Most of the time I do. That one I thought was okay. A lot of the times, I miss a lot of those sometimes, and then they work. So, but it's one of those things, you know, trading is not a science. It's sort of an art and a skill that you build up, so it's not an exact science. But yesterday I was down $87. Today I'm down at $200. So it's not the end of the world. You know, you can deal with that some days. You know, so over the last 2 days I've lost $270. If I get a good trade tomorrow, you can get all that back in one day. So it's, you know, as I say, it's about your equity curve, not what happens in 1 day or 2 days. So my equity curve might come down a little bit in 2 days, but then it's quite likely going to go up. So over the last, so what's that, 12, 13, 14? So over the last 14 trades, I've lost 4 and 110. So obviously these 2 trades and that one yesterday did it, but sometimes you slip into this little bit of slightly risky trade, but then I think it's, you know, you got to, you know, pull yourself out of it. There's one of the days if you didn't lose your whole account, you won. Absolutely. Yeah, it's not a brilliant day, isn't it? But, you know, if I'd have been trading 2 contracts, before this I was down, what was I down on? $300 before I did this. It's about $300, wasn't it? If I'd have been trading 2 contracts, I'd have been down $600. I'd have struggled to come back from that. But the fact that I'm risking only it's come back down now, look, leg and leg. The fact that I'm just risking 1 contract is enabling me to not lose a huge amount of money in one go. Once you lose so much money, you're doomed. It's just a downward spiral. So 3 trades, 2 losses and a win. One of those things, so I am down 3.75 points for the day, which is not too bad. I'll look at that if you'd have jumped in there, but the trouble is, you just don't know. But it's frustrating. When you go up, it goes up slower. But when it comes down, it just drops, doesn't it? But it's one of those things, isn't it? So, are we going to continue down? I'll push up. I think that the trick is to finish now. So I'm not done too bad. So I'm down $200 today. That's nothing really. It's nothing. It's not all roses. You know, sometimes things happen. So we've come down to same level there. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's a big ass bar that to trade, isn't it? Okay, that's me done for the day. I'm not pushing my luck anymore. Things have turned out not too bad. They could have been a lot worse. You caught 8 points on that trade. That one there, did you? Or the one that's just happened? That one. Good on you, mate. Good on you. Yeah, if you hold to the top, there's no reason why you shouldn't. But, you know, sometimes when you're down, you just think, I've got the chance of getting half of it back. Shorted. Oh, at the top. Yeah. Yeah, it's frustrating, isn't it? It came down really quickly. Then when I got it, it went up, went sideways, went up, went sideways, and went up. But look at that. It's actually ranging quite nice at the moment. It's, when it hits the top, it pulls straight back down. Would you have taken that one? Possibly. Trouble is, sometimes when you've just taken a trade and you got something back, sometimes you just think, oh, one more risk and I'll. But that was a channel down with a big bar, bounced off it, but following your plan perfectly. Thank you, mate. Well, so far so good. So far so good. But I think at some point you've got to say, okay, it's been a tough day, and at the end of the day, I'm down a couple of $100, which is neither here nor there really. It's 4 points, isn't it? You can get that back in a trade. Well, that thing's gone up about 9, isn't it? So it doesn't take a lot, really. So trouble is, are we going to continue to do this? You don't know whether it's going to change, do you? We bought, went up, sold, came down, bought, went up, sold. Trouble is, you don't know when it's going to change, do you? How long have we been going? 3 hours and 15. Trouble is, you don't know at any one of these shorts it could trigger you and stop you out. I wouldn't have thought that one worked because it didn't quite touch the bottom. You don't know whether it's going to trigger you and come down and maybe break a bit lower. So same again with that one. You just don't know. It does look like a leg and leg, but you just don't know what it's going to do you? Sometimes they'll come down, sometimes they'll trigger you and stop you out. Is the move down a profit taking or just to take out long stops? I don't know that one, mate. I've been AFK all morning. How's the trading? Yeah, I've had 3 trades. I've had 2 losses and a win. It's just been an awkward day with the bottoms down here and this being bearish. I didn't think that was a bad trade, but in all fairness, it was a bit naive because we're more or less at the bottoms, and that one, we'd had a channel up break. I had a feeling we were going to push up sideways and push up, so I took that. I thought it might retest the highs, but no dice. So it's one of those things, isn't it? See if we get a bounce here and then maybe a lower high. Quarter past. I'll finish in 5 minutes. The trouble is, when we get that, it looks like 2 legs and it came down, and then we get a strong push up. Mind you, that was a strong push down and it still turned. Yeah, we are. But what I will say is every time it comes up here, it comes down, which is a good sign. We had similarly, we came down, we had a break and we bounced. We came up, we had a break. Hopefully. Like 2 legs down, reverse. So bullish trap. Oh, look at that. I expected a leg at some point, and the way that's pushed up. So what happens in a double? Goes up, goes down, what? Dum, bum, bum. Yeah, see, limit orders are good in a way. I like limit orders because if you put a market order, sometimes if the price hits it just as you drop it, you get kicked out of it, and sometimes you miss it then. So I kind of like a limit. Well, I only use limit orders for that obvious reasons, but yeah. Trouble is, my thoughts are we may have a push up to make that leg. Got a leg and a leg. See, it almost looks like it's working up there, doesn't it? Probably there, really. So if we go from there, I don't know, maybe there. Break, push it. I don't know. It's not very clear, is it, in all fairness? Yeah, we are, aren't we? Trouble is, it may come down from there, it may go up. It's just not very clear, is it? But what I will say is we've had a breakout of this range. Most breakouts fail. We're clearly ranging touch, 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 breakout. Trouble is, you've got to be careful going short here because you may turn, it may trigger you and then push up. You may get a second entry long. If I look on the 10,000 tick chart, it does look like it's slowly working up. That's sort of what makes me a little bit nervous. Do you know what I mean? There's obviously a possibility that we are slowly moving up. I mean, it's definitely sideways, but with a sort of an upwards. So you just don't know. If you take a short here and it triggers you and pushes up, you get a second entry long and it pushes up. Now, obviously, as we know, most breakouts fail over a range, and it's clearly ranging. Not so much on the bottom, but the tops. Okay, let's see if we can trap some longs in here. I don't know the way that's pushing. I think we could possibly get a push up sideways and another push up at some point. This looks like it's teasing you in. Okay, so there's our first entry, or lower high. We need to get below it now, really, to get a failure. See, what I will say is I was up about $1,000 over 2 weeks. So what day is this now? Let me have a look. How many days have I been trading now? Let me have a look. Account summary. This is day 12. Okay, so day 12, $800. So, you know, my sort of, I don't know, let's say a rough target, I was talking about $2,000 a month, okay? So let's say, for instance, you only make $1,500 a month. If you've got 10 accounts, if you get this account up to, say, $7,000 and you leave it there, and then whatever you make in a month, you pay yourself. So if it's $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, even if it's $1,500, so let's say I double what I do now in the next sort of 10 days, on 10 accounts, that's $15,000. So even on a not brilliant month, you can still earn a ton of money. So, you know, me thinking, well, yeah, I'm down $200 from what I was, you know, or $250. It really doesn't matter. There's plenty of money to be made. And you've got to say, the last couple of days have been pretty awful trading. Now, if we get a nice day tomorrow and I win 2 3-point trades, I'm more or less back to where I was. What's that? 2, 3. That's another $300. That'll get me up to $1,100. That's where I was. So, you know, sometimes a bad day is not a major issue, really. It's just sometimes you get a couple of bad days. The markets are a bit naff, you know, and it is what it is. So it's just one of those things. Don't forget, folks, we've still got this 90% off at the moment. Finishes next week, in next week, I think. No, 1 week. 1 week, so 90%. My code's down there. Yeah, I know you guys use it, and I really appreciate that. But it's there anyway, so let's have a little look. So I'm probably going to knock it on the head, actually. Things are going really nice at the moment, so no point in over-exerting myself. So we've got a leg down and a leg down. You don't know where they're going to push up, but I'd say quite lightly. In fact, there was a failure there. Leg. Let's see if we can get a lower high here. Then I expect to come back to that, and then I'm off then. It is a second entry short and a failure, that. So that's 2.5 points. I actually like that.
Order submitted.
Excuse me a sec. Sorry, I'm just going to put a limit order here, see if that'll come and get me, but let me think. Let me see. It's a failure. How far has it come down? 1.75 points. No, let's leave it.
Order cancelled.
I'm just thinking if we can get a lower high there. Seem to have a bullish bias, yeah. Yeah, it's hard to say. Yeah, I agree with you for sure. Yeah, I think at some point I expect another leg up. But in fact, I think the sensible thing to do me to finish today. So it's been a long day. How long we've been going? 3.5 hours. So yeah, sometimes you can just well, okay. So I'm just going to save that. 31st of the 10th, 23. No, you're right, Clay, for sure. Yeah, it does look like it now, doesn't it? Leg and a leg. Leg. Yeah, it's tempting, isn't it? I mean, I'm staying at, yeah. Makes perfect sense here. If we get a lower high and it pushes below here, it may go down, but yeah, the trouble is, like I say on the 10,000 tick chart, it's, yeah, well, what does that look like? It looks like we're going up, doesn't it? And I did say we're likely to get a leg. But it's also a bit congested, so leg, maybe a higher low here to take you up. Leg, higher low on top of here. Yeah. Yeah, I'm staying out for the day. I'm done. In 1 minute looking bullish, next minute's looking bearish. So, okay, so that's mine saved. But yeah, it's definitely got a bullish feel to it. Up, sideways, up. But it's very similar to yesterday, but it's horrible price action. This right from here, I'd say that wasn't terrible. You know, I think there was a leg down, a couple of legs up. That I think was okay. What did I get suckered into that one there? Too close to the lows, really, but you just don't know. Sometimes you get a leg, pull back another leg, and it would have worked. One day it works, next day it won't. But that does look like it's pushing up, doesn't it? There's probably going to be some stops along there, but what it also is congested. So you just don't know, do you? So I'm done today anyway. So I appreciate all your comments. Not turned into a terrible day in the end. It was a little bit worse, but there we go. So that's it, folks. So I appreciate your comments. Have a great Halloween. I'm going down now to have my dinner, and my daughter and her mates are going to be going out Halloweening. They're all splashed in fake blood at the moment. So have a great evening. Stay safe, and I will see you all again same time tomorrow. Hopefully we might get a better day tomorrow, so we'll see. So thanks for the comments. Stay safe, and I will see you all same time tomorrow. Bye for now. Yeah, bye. So bye, Osam.